Okay, so I'm down on the allotment getting ready to put in my Echinacea and my Scabious, but I'm a bit worried about doing this. We are still a month away from my last frost date, so it's really early to be putting this kind of stuff in. Now, Echinacea and especially Scabious, actually they do well in the cold. They are cold hardy. They will perennialize for you in this zone. I'm in zone 9B. But that's when they're established plants. These are still really young. And the only reason I'm putting them out now is because they look so sad. My garden is terrible for growing in. That's why I have the allotment. And these guys really are not liking the conditions in my garden. So I am hoping that by moving them down and just giving them a bit of protection through putting down a nice thick mulch and then putting a frost cloth on them, that should keep them okay until my last frost date, which is only 4 weeks away, and it's not going to be a hard frost. It's not lots of snow, you know, we get down to maybe -2. So I'm hoping that with the mulch and things on, these guys won't actually freeze, and they should survive. But this might be something that I come to regret later in the season. But for now, let's get these in. For anyone that doesn't know, my name is Peggy, and I am going into my 3rd year of growing a cut flower garden here on my allotment in Kanagawa Prefecture, Japan, which is just south of Tokyo in USDA Zone 9B. Thanks for checking out my channel. Okay, so I did actually try and plant out some Echinacea and Scabious 2 years ago, my very first year that I was doing this garden, and nothing happened. I couldn't get them to germinate and none of them came. But then the following year, I had mystery plants pop up in the garden, and one of them turned out to be a Scabious, the purple Scabious that was behind me. And the other one was one of my green twister Echinacea, which is over here. This one dies right back. You can just see the sticks sticking out, but I'm hoping that's going to start coming back for me soon. Whereas the Scabious has already started to put on some growth. So I had one of each in the garden. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my new ones in around where these ones were already, and hope that, like these ones which came up themselves, I will get flowers off them this year. Now, I started these seeds in early autumn, fall. So I'm really hoping that I'll get flowers off them this year and not have to wait a year to get them. I should get flowers this year. But I'm going to go ahead and put them in the ground here. I have quite a long area for them here because there are quite a few going in. And I am going to put 2 plants per row and kind of space them about 30 centimeters apart, I think. I'll wait and see how many I've actually got in my tray. Okay, I'm going to start with my Scabious. The one that is in here is a kind of small pale purple one. So this year I have gone for another of the pink ones, which are the typical kind of pin cushion, small shape with the little spikes coming out of it. Whereas this other one I have is one of the bigger open flowers. So I'm really excited to see how this one does. And it is in a purple color as well. So I'm going to get these in. Okay, I've actually got about 7 or 8 of each of these, but I do not need that much. These plants get really big and give you a lot of flowers off of one plant. So I'm only going to put in 4 or 5 of each one. The rest I'll keep. Some of them I might actually put on at home in case any of these fail, so that I can replant them. And if I end up with any left that I don't need to replant or restock, then I'll try and grow them in my garden at home. It's terrible, they probably won't grow, but I hate to throw away a plant. So because this is the small purple one here, I'm going to start with my small pink ones. I watered these really well last night to give them a lot of time to soak the water up, so they should be nice and damp. And it's been raining the last 2 days here, so they're going into damp soil. So I am going to dig holes as deep as the tray that they're in, and then I'm going to put a little bit of slow release flower food or fertilizer in the bottom of them because they look like they could really use some help. And then once these start flowering, I'll give them another layer of fertilizer as well. But let's get these in the ground. You can see these have got really nice roots on them, so I'm hoping they'll be okay going in this early. Okay, Scabious pink, here we go. Okay, next I've got to put in my Echinacea, which are looking a lot healthier than my Scabious were. And again, I have 2. I have a pink one, which is just kind of a normal pink one, and then I have one of the cupcakes, which I'm really excited about, and they look really good as well. But again, I don't think I need this many. So I think I'm going to put in 4 of each of these. Okay, so now this has been watered in. It's got a straw mulch on it. I'm going to put up some of these little curvy, sorry, my frost cloth's blowing everywhere. I'm going to put in some of these to build a low tunnel and then put a frost cloth over it just to make sure that these guys are not going to die on me with a hard frost. And again, my last frost is in about a month, so this isn't going to stay on very long. As soon as it starts to get warmer and the chance of frost has gone, I will take it off because these guys do like it cold, just not frozen. So let's get these in. Okay, and then a trick that I've learned from my allotment neighbours is to use clothes pegs and just hook them on, and especially down the sides. It helps it from blowing up at the bottom so that you know that the frost cloth is going to stay all the way down. You going to peg? Yeah, you do your peg.
This one? Mm-hmm. This one?
Put it right down at the bottom corner.
This one?
Ta-da! The garden is looking in really good shape for the spring. Now I've got all my tulips in and I've got 1 or 2 starting to come through, but not very many. I've already got my dahlia in because we're not going to get a hard frost that's going to kill those off. I have in all of my sweet pea, all of my freesia, which are still looking a bit sad, but I'm getting a bit of growth coming back on them. My anemone, my daffodils have already started to come up. My snapdragon, I've got poppy and gladiola there. Now my echinacea and my scabious. I've got an eryngium here and some allium. All of my ranunculus. Then I've got a docus dara and some ponytails, which have come on from last year, so I should be getting them this year because they're biennials. And then at the far end there, all of my stock. The garden is pretty full. Now, considering this time last year I had nothing in, this is feeling pretty good. So I'm just hoping that I'm not going to get a killing frost, and I've been super over optimistic and this is all going to die off. But I'm hoping, looking around, you know, I've got the guys that have been here for years. I've got baby lettuce going under frost cloth, and they've still got some really, really tender stuff. Their sweet pea are massive already. I don't know how they do it. Every year they beat me on the sweet pea. So I'm hoping that that's a sign that I haven't jumped the gun and put this out too early, but we can only wait and see. If you want to come along and see how I do for the rest of the season and when these come up, then remember to hit the subscribe button below. If you want to see what I do with all of the flowers that I cut from my garden, and you can look back on everything that I did last season, you can check out my Instagram, which is From the Witch's Garden, and there's a link to that below. And I will see you guys next week. Bye!